YouTube? It is your favorite game here, Above Average Cody, coming at you with a surprise little Halo Infinite video all about the Sandbox balancing updates that I had no idea was coming with the winter update in, I believe, 5 days now, 4 days. It's coming very soon. 343 is changing a lot of things and a lot of ways that weapons we've gotten very used to. They're changing how they really work and do damage, and not only that, they addressed Desync. They addressed mouse and keyboard issues. They addressed many things that are on their to-do list, and I'm excited. I'm more shocked, actually, that not only are they adjusting the sandbox, but also they even addressed any desync issues or anything like that, guys. So we're going to go over this whole thing. We're going to break down piece by piece as quickly as possible to really show you guys what's going on in the winter update behind the scenes, how you can expect the guns to play differently, and then obviously I'll briefly give you guys my thoughts. Now, if you scroll down here, these adjustments are coming in the winter update, so these will be live on that November 8th date, guys. First off, they addressed the plasma pistol. They did some tuning stuff, guys, and I'll be honest with you, I don't know exactly what all of this tuning stuff does, but basically, they increased the base shot damage. This is when you do not have it charged, because they noticed, and again, this is all based off community feedback, seeing what players are doing, what they like, what they don't like, and trying to adjust it so that it's more balanced, so everything is viable. So with this, the base shot damage is increased from 20 to 28. This is when you just go tap, 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 like you don't charge the plasma pistol. It does a lot more damage. It still doesn't do a lot of damage, but it does 8 more than it did, which is quite a bit. Increased charged shot angular velocity and increased charged shot guided angular velocity. I imagine this has to do with how well it tracks to the target, which it does feel like it hits the wall a lot, so I'm fine with it slightly being adjusted to track a little better, but again, that's a guess. I'm indifferent to this. I probably still won't tap people with the plasma pistol, only if I'm in a pinch, but we're going to get through this as quickly as possible, guys, because there is quite a bit to get in here, and like I said, at the end, they addressed some crazy stuff that I was shocked to see in this update. Pulse Carbine, guys, they adjusted that. If you're not familiar, that's like the 3-burst, like, little thing that shoots the little, like, glowing balls. I don't know the better way to explain it. I can never remember the name. I always have to ask you guys on stream what the name of it is, but they increased the guided angular velocity at rest from 25 to 35 degrees, decreased angular velocity, increased targeted leading fraction, and increased guided projectile error radius. Guys, I have no idea what any of that means, to be honest with you, but even as players have gotten more proficient with the Pulse Carbine, it has not been as successful in short to mid-range as we would like. To help this, we've updated the tracking to help it out in shorter range to help balance out its power, though. We'll be reducing its tracking at longer range, so basically just balancing out at ranges. Thank you, 343, for putting the dev notes right above the changes, because I'm a simpleton. Just tell me if the gun does more or less damage. The Commando, they are adjusting that, which I thought was very interesting. It felt like a bit of a higher skill gun to use, but I guess they felt like it was a little too much. So people were complaining it felt loose, especially at shorter range, which obviously it is a hard gun to use when it's at close range. To help increase its effectiveness up close, we've slightly increased the bullet magnetism and slightly reduced the high minimum error. It's going to help you finish off targets at close range during internal playtests, so they're eager to see how it plays out once they launch it. So increase headshot prioritization, which is just going to make the headshots register better. Increased bullet magnetism, which we mentioned. Increased aim assist angle and decreased minimum error angle. So basically, they're making the gun easier to use, which I think is fine, because I prioritize this gun on the map a lot. I'm shocked many people don't, and the fact that they are not adjusting the damage on top of this, I think is a big W for the gun overall. Hopefully we see it used much more. Now, the BR75, guys, this is very interesting, and believe it or not, someone I just talked to the other day said how easy it is to use the BR75. So basically, they want the BR75, obviously they want to remain a versatile weapon that they know and love, but they thought it was too easy to use, and they use the terminology as the kills aren't as rewarding as they should be, which I suppose is fair, because it very much feels like I have to strafe and make the enemy miss one bullet, and I guess on good ping, it doesn't really feel that hard to use. So they want to raise the skill ceiling on landing the final kill shot, as well as reduce its effectiveness at range from the hip. These changes should make kills with the BR75 even more rewarding. So, headshot prioritization angle reduced, bullet magnetism angle reduced, bullet magnetism range reduced, and bullet magnetism fall-off range reduced from whatever the heck this measurement is, guys. So basically, they're not nerfing it. They're just making it so that the higher skill players with the BR-75 are going to have a much easier time winning gunfights and using the weapon. I'm not going to go over this too much more, guys, but please, of all the guns I go over today, I want to hear your thoughts on this one in the comments. Talk to me in the comments. I'll give more thoughts down there. I'm indifferent to it, but I think it's going to be very good because as somebody who's currently grinding up and trying to get to a higher level, I feel my practice with the BR, these tuning details will make it more rewarding. I guess that is good terminology. It'll make it so that those very skilled at snapping up to the head get some easy kills. All right, guys, onto the frag grenade. Increase detonation timer by 0.2 seconds. Now, this is because receive feedback that's a bit too effective and that throwing one just before dying in easier trades leads to easier trades than intended. In order to help address these issues, we have increased the detonation time slightly. This will give players a little bit more time to react to a grenade that has landed near them. It will also reward players for better placed grenades. So basically, they won't explode so quickly, so you have to be a bit more methodical when throwing grenades. Snap slide. Guys, this was never supposed to be in the game. I'm shocked somebody even discovered it and people started getting it down. Basically, the same reason they tried to take out curb sliding is the same reason they're taking this out. It leads to absolutely unrealistic rotations around the map and things like that. And they use the terminology could truly break the game flow. So they took it out. They fixed the bug. It no longer will exist. Now the disruptor. They increased the ammo count from 10 to 12. Not a massive change here, but I like that they are digging under every single little pebble and rock to really adjust things to make everything viable. That is what the Halo Sandbox is all about, guys. There is no reason there should be a gun spawning on the wall that I have zero reason to pick up. And I'll be honest, I do underestimate the disruptor from time to time, but hey, I get 2 extra rounds in there. So that's pretty cool. And now, guys, this is the big thing I really want to get to. This video is already way longer than I want it to be. So future updates. They address desync, aiming, and more. We're going to go through this one by one, guys, but I am shocked. And they do use the terminology in the next few months. So I don't know if this will be a drop pod. I don't know if this will be Season 3 coming in March type stuff. But the fact that guys, Forge is releasing, they are adjusting weapons, and they are addressing the biggest issue in the game. I'm not saying we're on the path to righteousness here, but it's looking good. Things are looking up, guys. Anyways, let's get through this. PC and M&K input improvements, guys. I'm not going to read everything they put here, but mouse and keyboard, hearing from my mouse and keyboard friends, is terrible. It's not very viable. My friend actually went out of his way to pick up a controller just to play the game the other day. He quickly switched back because that's not his main input. But it's bad, and they're aiming to improve it, so I think that's important. Nobody should feel like their input method is nerfed or like they can't use it, even though this is an Xbox game. You should... Microsoft, you should be able to use mouse and keyboard just as viable. We're getting a red reticle on PC. Completely indifferent, but I know a lot of people they really miss the red reticle, but it's coming, guys. It is. Scroll wheel, we felt this would too when using the scroll wheel to swap weapons. Sometimes it would double swap, especially YYing. We'll be updating how the game reads scroll wheel inputs, and this is obviously relevant to, your mouse scroll wheel. Walk key. I'm not even going to get into it, guys. There's an issue with the walk key. We're going to try to speed this up. But the desync, guys, we're into this one because this is the biggest complaint of me, people in chat, everybody that plays this game. This is huge. But they covered it in their closer look blog. There isn't a single issue causing all of the problems that many classify as desync, so it's not easy to just walk in and fix one thing. So for context on people being like, oh, why don't they just fix the biggest bug in the game? Main thing is they don't know really how to go about it, so they're going to start to work on that. Now the content and things like that are coming, which is what they promised. Desync is when the server says you're in one place on the map while the client shows you're in a different spot. Blank shots, I don't need to explain that one. Getting shot around walls, I don't need to explain that one. And ghost melees, I definitely don't need to explain that one. But those are the main complaints and what they're focused on fixing, which, let's be honest, if you fix all of those things, guys, the game is pretty good. It's really good, like, running-wise. But ghost melees, they go into depth on everything here. Vehicle desync and obviously more balance updates. The drop shot or drop weapon meta, which allowed players to pull out the secondary weapon by dropping their first. Problematic during normal gameplay. We kept an eye on it, especially in high-level matches, and agreed with community feedback that it is just too strong for how easy it is to pull off. As a result, we are planning to bring the drop shot time in line with the speed of just swapping weapons in a future update. So they do intend to leave the drop weapon in the game, but it is not going to lead to an overpowered meta. So drop the weapon if you want. It looks nice. It looks cool. It'll look flashy, but it won't be any quicker than switching between the two weapons. Thruster, while we do want equipment to tip the scales of a fight, we've started to see the thruster come out on top of 1v1 engagements more than we intended. We plan on adjusting this a bit to make sure it's no longer tipping the scales too far in one direction. Now this I'm a little surprised they're changing it, but the fact that whenever I have a thruster in my pocket, I am so confident in taking a 1v1 or any gunfight for that matter, it really doesn't shock me. My guess is they'll probably make it a slower thrust, or you won't thrust quite as far, because if you're doing those 1v1 strafe fights and you throw a thrust strafe in there, oh my god, you are gone. Energy sword. We've noticed the energy sword can be a little too effective on maps with tighter corners. Yeah, I'd say so. To help bring it in line where we'd like, we'll be updating the melee trade logic on the energy sword. Thank you. Thank you. This is everything I wanted to hear. Obviously, they're just addressing this. They're not saying this is getting fixed right away, but just the fact that they're addressing it, guys, I'm excited. I'm gassed, dude. That's all I ask for with the energy sword, and I'd be fine with it being in. Competitive weapon respawn timers. Throughout Halo Infinite's first HCS season, the amount of power through pickups like weapons on each arena map. To help address this, they will be reducing how quickly weapons respawn, as well as how many of each weapon can be on the map at any given time. I'm looking at you, Mangler. Not that the Mangler is not overpowered, but this was a major talking point in the Mangler GA, is how many Manglers can be on the map. Because at one point, guys, you could go up against an entire team of Manglers with there being 2 spawns on, say, Bazaar, and how quickly the Mangler would spawn back up. And in closing, we're excited by the promise and potential of Halo Infinite's core gameplay, and we plan to tend to the sandbox as it continues to grow and adjust as new metas evolve over time. Balance updates, aiming improvements, networking improvements, bug fixes, and more are all on our radar. Shout out Unishek, the man himself. Guys, this is massive. They are listening, they are addressing, and more importantly, they are fixing. Tuning the sandbox is a massive deal because the more we play with the same weapons, the same sandbox, I'm looking at like more ranked, it does get stale. I'm not going to lie to you. And the fact that they are trying to increase the skill ceiling on guns like the BR and then make guns like the Commando, the Disruptor, more viable to be used, I think these are massive improvements that will go a long way. You pair that with fixing the desync, you pair that with mouse and keyboard being much more viable, and now you're going to have Forge, co-op campaign. Guys, I am getting goosebumps. This is starting to feel like a complete game. I'm very excited. I'm very happy. I'm still very much not trying to jump the gun with 343, but they said it best with the potential of Halo Infinite's core gameplay. I've said this to you guys over and over and over again. The potential this game has is through the roof, not only competitively, but from a social standpoint, and it's such a good base game, and it would be a shame if they do not roll out all of these fixes, which is why I'm very hopeful they're coming. But all right, guys, again, this video, much longer than I thought it was going to be. I wasn't even going to do a video on it until I scrolled down and saw that they addressed the desync and the mouse and keyboard issues, because I haven't really seen them say a lot about it up till now. So Anyways, guys, share all your thoughts in the comments. Other than that, subscribe, leave a like, feel free to donate. It helps out so much. Everything goes to the new chair fund because my butt hurts while we're streaming for 24 hours at a time. But, all right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay happy, stay healthy, and stay tuned for the next video.